So let's review the course objectives. These include 1. Describe the current need in the U.S. health system for transitioning to value-based care. 2. Define specific terms associated with value-based care. Distinguish between patients in today's health system and health consumers in value-based care. Identify and distinguish among different types of care delivery and payment mechanisms used in value-based care. Explain the continuum of financial risk in transitioning to value-based care. Research and the current status of risk assumption in the U.S. And finally, 5, identify and prepare to display specific leadership traits needed for value-based care. It's my expectation by the end of this course that you will be able to demonstrate the objectives here that we just mentioned and in the next 2 slides. The course will begin with the first objective being to really describe the current need in the U.S. health system for transitioning to value-based care. This is a critical level-setting discussion, not necessarily a happy discussion, but one that is critical for understanding why we are moving to value-based care and why it is so challenging yet so important to make such a move. As with any new and immature concept, there is a maturity scaling process taking place in value-based care. Various trials and errors have occurred. These often result in new and different terminology being applied to concepts associated with the end state goal. So you will be introduced to a variety of terms, even including the concepts of patient versus consumer, as these terms shift in meaning as applied to healthcare. Part of the trial and error process in value-based care has also resulted in different types of care delivery and payment mechanisms being tried for which you should gain an understanding. We will talk about pay for performance versus shared risk and shared savings versus shared risk. We'll look at bundled payments and patient-centered medical homes as options for value-based care. The shifting of financial risk that characterizes value-based care will be explored. This course is not focused on any one form of value-based care, such as the current programs offered by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, or CMS, but will cover the waterfront as the current landscape dictates. Early in this course, we also want you to appreciate the need for leadership in value-based care, hoping, in fact, that you will assume some of the leadership in your organization for successfully transitioning to value-based care. The next set of course objectives include compare financial administrative management needs between traditional fee-for-service and value-based care, list and discuss operational and technical needs for value-based care, illustrate the convergence of financial, administrative, and clinical components of health for value-based care, discuss the importance of all forms of interoperability in value-based care, and find on the internet current best practice solutions, and define health intelligence and illustrate how data analytics offers support for value-based care. As evidence of shifting terminology, value-based care was, until recently, most commonly called value-based payment or value-based reimbursement. While value is outcomes relative to costs, the focus initially in shifting risk was on the cost side rather than the outcome side. So a key objective for this course is to address both the financial administrative management needs and the needed improvement in outcomes that are expected as we transition from the traditional fee-for-service environment, wherein the more services provided, the more money is earned, and value-based care, wherein the better outcomes delivered, the less risk there is of earning less money, and in some cases actually earning more money due to efficiencies and improved health outcomes. The term value-based care has become more popular today as is being recognized that focusing on outcomes of care delivery is the primary way to achieve value. To improve care delivery, it is necessary to consider improvements needed in operational and information technology aspects of the health system. For example, we need to better manage the flow of work and information associated with medication management across the continuum of care. CMS value-based care programs actually do a good job of addressing these needs. We are also finding, however, that we cannot forsake a focus on cost, hence the need for convergence of financial, administrative, and clinical components of health for value-based care to be successful. Even more specifically, we need to assure interoperability at the technical level as well as at the semantic level, that is, ensuring common meaning of health terminology. We also need to consider process interoperability so that there are economies of scale and enhanced trust across those who need to share health information. And we are also coming to recognize that policy interoperability is important, not just via regulatory mandates, but common agreements among entities that must share data. Some have used the term health intelligence to recognize the importance of having information about the cost of services and their impact on outcomes at the point of care. So we will be looking closely at this topic as well. The last set of objectives focuses on some of the newer and potentially misunderstood or at least controversial topics in value-based care. These include to distinguish between population health and precision medicine, and between care coordination and patient engagement, and discuss how these concepts are important in value-based care. Research and discuss innovations and new business models as strategies for achieving success with value-based care. Develop a learning approach to value-based care as it transforms the U.S. health system. And finally, network with peers to facilitate knowledge generation. Population health and precision medicine are two what we call disruptive processes that are actually complementary to one another, even though they look a little like they'd be opposite to one another, but need to be better understood by all. Similarly, care coordination and patient engagement have not been commonly applied services in delivering health care to date, yet both are critical to achieving value for health care. There are also new models in the business of care delivery, such as telehealth, mobile health, digital technology, and retail clinics, which we will explore as important components of value-based care. Finally, the last two objectives, as I noted earlier, are critical to your overall success in value-based care. If you will have developed a learning approach to value-based care as it transforms the U.S. health system and network with peers to facilitate knowledge generation, I believe you will have succeeded in this course.